Hey, what's going on, everybody? Weekly update that I tell you guys everything that's going on. Behind the scenes news, I got my rough layout done this week, which is really good. I'm waiting for one more piece to be finalized by somebody, and then I have two things I need to put together of my own. But I printed out a rough draft of all the other things. I have 35 out of the 40 pages accounted for, and I'll read that all over this week, and that should be done the next week and sent to the printer pretty soon. So that's really good. And then, of course, Chicago Joe, the ongoing saga of Chicago Joe. I wanted to show you guys. So here's my first rough draft that I printed out months ago. So this is just a regular document. It's 114 pages, something like that, 120 pages. And then we hole punched it, and Alicia bound it for me with some twine. And so this was my first read through. I read through it, Alicia read through it, and I made a couple little notes and then did some editing. So after that, then printed it out again. This one was a little bit longer, added some stuff. You can see here I'm making my little notes there. Every time I see little typos, little things. This one was maybe 120, 125 pages or something. Again, hole punch with a little binding. And then once that was done, did a bunch more editing and then started formatting it. So the actual book is not going to be 8.5 by 11. The book's going to be, I think I'm going to go like 5.25 by 8 inches tall. And so it shrinks down, your page size shrinks down, and so your page count gets longer. So the actual book is going to be like 300 pages. So printed out a big monster. This is 280 some pages of book that I have been looking over this week, and again finding stuff I want to change and switch and flip and make my little notes there. The actual book, of course, will be like 150 pages because it's printed front and back, so it'll be 150 sheets of paper, but it'll be about 300 pages long. And again, 3-hole punch and how to use a shoestring to bind this, which I wasn't even going to bind it, and Alicia's like, you need to bind it, you're going to have pages everywhere. And so it's a little bit of a tome, it's a little bit of a thing to get through. But I'm doing my final edits on that. It's crazy how many times you can read through something, because I've read the whole thing front to back like 5 times. You still find, there's a quotation mark there that doesn't belong, there's a period there when it should be a comma. You still catch little things, and then on top of that, rewording sentences like, this sentence would sound better if you whatever, just changing adjectives and shit like that. I wanted to show you something that I thought was kind of cool that I did. I'm excited about it. I always like it. I just started reading a new fantasy novel called A Plague of Giants. And it's in the realm of Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, stuff like that. I like fantasy novels like that. I read Name of the Wind last year, and it was like great if you want a good fantasy novel. So I'm reading one now called A Plague of Giants, and all of those books I just named all have something in common, and that thing is that they have maps in the beginning of the book. And I love when there's a map in the beginning of the book, because then you start reading the book and then you go back and look at the map. I am not writing a fantasy novel. I'm writing like a noir, campy, pulp type of detective novel. I don't need a map in the beginning of the book, because everything takes place in real life places that if you want a map, you can look up the map. But I like maps, and so what I decided to do is I went through and I drew a whole bunch of little maps for all the different places that the book takes place. In the United States, for example. This one is actually, so it takes place in 3 different cities. It takes place mostly in Chicago, a little bit in San Francisco, a little bit in Brooklyn. I'm giving you guys the insider knowledge, but this particular map is, at some point they go from Chicago to San Francisco. So I made that. And I don't know, it's just kind of a cool little detail. If you're from any of those cities, you'll recognize some of the street names and stuff. But what I decided to do is at the beginning of of each chapter. Let me find one. I'm going to put, so chapter 3, there's a map. This takes place in Chicago. If you recognize that intersection, you'll have a clue about where this takes place. But it's kind of neat because they come back to various locations, and so you'll see the same map, like, and it's just kind of a little visual signifier. First of all, that it's the beginning of a new chapter. Instead of just having like chapter 1, I just thought it'd be kind of something interesting. I think it's cool. I hope you guys think it's cool. But they all have little things like that. But if you see the same map that you've already seen in a previous chapter, then it's like a little visual signifier indicator. Oh, they're back at that such and such location. Oh, they're back in San Francisco. You know, here's another Chicago map. So I just thought that was kind of cool. I have, when I'm all done with this, I'm going to have 3 rough drafts. I'm going to have a bunch of these. So I drew these by hand. I just drew these by hand and then kind of manipulated them a little bit after I scanned them in, but I drew them all by hand. I think I'm going to give away the rough drafts, and I was trying to think of who to give them to or how to give them away, and so I thought I would offer it to my Patreon subscribers. If only one person says I want one, then I'll send you one. If only 3 people say, then those are the 3 people that'll get them. If everybody says, then I'll do like a random drawing, or I'll have to figure out some fair way to give these away. I don't know why anyone would want 300 pages of this, but maybe you would. Maybe it would be kind of like a cool thing to have to see what to see my notes. I don't know. The point for me is that I don't need these anymore, so I might as well get rid of them. And also, there's 31 chapters, but some of these maps get repeated, so I don't know how many maps there are, but there's like 25 little hand-drawn maps that I'm going to send out to my Patreon subscribers, just because, I don't know, it'd be a cool little thing to have, maybe. So, wanted to just tell all that to you. One more thing. I have put Behind the Zines 18 up for pre-order on my Etsy page, and I'm also doing a sale because I don't know if can you see that box back there right behind me? That box, and I have another one just like it, are full of Behind the Zines t-shirts. I thought these things would fly off the shelves. Some people were very excited to get them, but like when I'm at a zine fest or something, I can almost talk someone into buying a zine. I cannot talk them into buying a t-shirt. So I have more shirts than I need, which is not a problem, except I'm about to get 400 copies of Behind the Zines in, and I'm about to get 300 copies. I'm probably going to do 300 copies of Chicago Joe. So I'm about to like stack up a bunch of boxes. So if I could get rid of 1 box of shirts, that would clear out some space. So I'm doing a sale on the t-shirts right now. If you don't have a shirt and you want a shirt, if you buy a shirt now from my Etsy page, you'll get free shipping. So you're already saving like $3 or $4. And I'm going to throw in the new issue of Behind the Zines when it comes out. So if you want a shirt, now's the time to get it, between now and September. Just thought I'd throw that out there. I also updated my Etsy site because a bunch of stuff had expired that I didn't realize had expired, but I still have it in stock. So if you feel like going on a spending spree, go over to my Etsy page. Anyway, love you guys. Hope everyone's doing well, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.